What up, TikTok? Hey, hope everybody's having a great Friday. Hey, don't let anything that's negative in your life dictate the rest of your life. Does that make sense? Hey, we all go through some hard times. We all go through some emotional stressors, maybe at work, maybe at home, whatever it may be. Don't let that dictate who you are and how you react to the rest of the things that life throws at you. Does that make sense? Like if you're feeling pissed off and angry all morning or all day, you're going to take that energy and you're going to present it to everybody else that surrounds you, your loved ones, your soldiers, whoever it may be. You're going to use that negative energy and it's just going to make everything worse. Try to be positive. Pick something positive in life that's going really well. Use that positive energy and let that dictate the rest of your day. We can harp on the negatives. We can harp on the bad things that are going on in life. It's not going to help us. It's not going to help us move forward. Stay strong, keep pushing, drive on. Happy Friday.
What's up, Trash Talkers? Hitting you up this morning with a special promo on how to dress when you are doing PT in civilians, but you want everybody to know you're an Army. This comes from the Buddy Beckwith fashion design of how to work out. So first, you can notice the RI panties. Not Ranger panties, but Ranger Instructor panties. The green socks, the knee brace for the old guys. Don't forget the M frames. Now the shirt, don't wear the Trash Talk shirt while you're running. This is just for the promo. You want to put on like an 80-second shirt or like your favorite airborne shirt so everybody knows that you're a veteran. That's the most important thing. And you start with this stretch. Buddy Beckwith taught me this one. Ready to go.
So, I'm walking out of the gas station and my co-worker, who's an old MP, but we still claim him, and he has engaged the man in conversation. Not much for conversation with strangers, but he's got the tab. So as I walk by, I say airborne, and the man responds with, and I quote, "Hoorah." So after I instructed my coworker to slash every single tire before he put the car in gear, I look for the biggest rock. As I crow hop to throw it through his back window so he can stop posing as one of us, I actually wake up and realize that the man's ignorance had incapacitated me for a moment, and I was daydreaming. I mean, because in that moment you got two options. I chose the third option and said, "Incorrect. That's an incorrect response." And I kept walking. The man said nothing and he pulled away. So you tell me, what is it, a stolen valor thing? No Marine's gonna have an airborne tab, and no paratrooper's gonna say hidden hoorah. So you tell me, stolen valor?
Hey, y'all, I'm going to work. I left you a note on the refrigerator. I love y'all. I'm gonna go.
Hey, go get dressed. Get ready for school.
You're doing great. I was tooling around, tooling along. Shit! Bad guys! Stop!
Let me break it down Barney style.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, Joe, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
Today's show is brought to you by the Farkas Group at the Veterans Mortgage Source. Are you looking for a team you can trust for your mortgage needs? The Farkas Group is our trusted partner on the podcast. I serve with Zach, and he will definitely give you the best rate possible. Their goal is to educate veterans across the country on their earned VA home loan benefit. If you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, reach out to these guys for competitive rates or any information you may need on obtaining a VA mortgage for your property. They are licensed in multiple states. If they are not licensed in the state that you live in, they will still give you the advice that you need, and the rates you should be looking for.
What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. We are back. Welcome to episode 74 of the Trash Talk Hour. Shout out to our sponsor, Zach Farkas with the Veterans Mortgage Source. You can check him out at Zach Farkas at vmsloans.com. 10th Mountain Whiskey, check them out at 10thwhiskey.com. Type in VTT and get a discount. Special guest today is Jimmy Bates with Warriors for the Outdoors. And today I'm joined by Nick, Buddy, and Cliff. Over to you, Buddy.
Yeah, hey, I'm going to introduce Jimmy Bates. Jimmy is an old 2505 Charlie Company guy. He was an 11 Charlie, which for all of you people that don't means he was like a 5.5 Bravo. So basically kind of an infantryman, but really not. More
Just
like
dig
a
holes.
guy that they sleep a lot in the middle of the patrol base and make other people carry a lot of heavy weight.
They play spades.
They tend to fall out of road
Lots of
marches
spades.
at Sicily drop zone and then have to be carried from Sicily drop zone all the way back to the barracks.
I had nothing to do with that. That was not.
Man, this is a great introduction, Jimmy.
He was underneath you.
Jimmy, you don't get to talk yet.
Stopped interrupting. Jimmy got out after Afghanistan, and he can talk more about that. But then he opened up Warrior for the Outdoors and owns a little cabin down in South Carolina where he lets people hunt, and more importantly, he facilitates people talking to each other and having their squad or their team or whatever get together, tell old stories, drink beer, shoot pigs and deer and whatever else moves, and just deal with their demons, a lot like what we're all about.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, tell us more about you.
Welcome, Jimmy.
Welcome, Jimmy.
About any bullshit
Welcome,
stories
Jimmy.
that they're going to tell involving anyone on the panel because they're patently untrue.
He's already defending himself against something that didn't even
Buddy
happen
just
yet.
Buddy just gave us a disclaimer.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
My
Jimmy.
name is Jimmy. I got the 2505 in August '96. Stayed there till June of '05. In January 2003, went to Afghanistan. Started having severe headaches while I was there, and had to leave early. Went to Germany, got an MRI, and they found out I had brain cancer. And I beat brain cancer. January 13th will be 18 years cancer free.
Fuck yeah.
Congratulations. Hell
I'm
yeah.
glad I didn't make fun of you for leaving early before you said that.
I mean, you could still make fun of them.
I know.
early,
Yeah, way to go.
but-
Way to leave your whole team behind. I had brain
Yeah,
cancer, dick.
Way to write a profile, Jimmy. Fucking Jesus.
I figured if you're gonna bow out, have a good reason.
That's right.
I would have stayed.
Started having severe headaches, and they figured out in 3 months of chemo and a month of radiation later. This sounds weird, but brain cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me because you start looking at shit a whole lot differently. You look at who beats brain cancer? Fucking me of all people.
You did.
That's right.
And
Now, could you just see? Did
It's,
you see shit differently because you lost vision?
I lost vision in one eye. I started having double vision, but no, you just see shit differently because when you get told you get brain cancer, I mean, that's mostly a death sentence. And I 3 months of chemo and a month of radiation later, I beat it and still here. And when I was down, chemo, radiation, depression, in the army, nothing could stop me. And then I get a brain tumor, and you're out of the army all of a sudden. Depression hits, life hits, and the outdoors helped me get through stuff, fishing, hunting, just the peacefulness out there. And in 2018, I think it was, I acquired a piece of property in South Carolina. And I said, what would be better it's okay to go hunting and stuff, but when you can take other people hunting and have them enjoy it with you, I get more out of people coming down there and shooting stuff and catching fish than I do doing it myself. And
So, is it a nonprofit or?
yes, sir, it is.
And then, so how do people find you, and how do they give you money?
warriorsfortheoutdoors.org. It's as soon as it comes on there, there's a donation thing on there.
Warriors for the Outdoor. Keep
And
talking.
Jim, yeah, go ahead.
Say again.
I was gonna ask you about, because we when you were going through the cancer stuff, all right, did you how did you handle that mentally and physically? Did you use the outdoors as well? Because we had a guest on a couple episodes ago. He had cancer as well. He's a cancer survivor, and what his medicine was is he went to the outdoors And he's claiming up and down that, through being outside near the water in the woods, like he healed from cancer, basically. Is that kind of similar to your story, or was it just the chemo that kind of, took care of it?
I'm going to say yes to all of those.
Okay.
Because my ex, she was a miserable bitch like most of them are. And every time I got feeling, but chemo I was sleeping 16, 18 hours a day because you had no energy and it's poisoning your body.
Right.
And when I wasn't sleeping, I was staying at my in-laws at the time, and the next door neighbor had a pond. I'd go over there and just fish for a little while. And she'd always get mad. Whenever you feel better, you go fishing. Why don't you help me around here? I don't want to be around you fucking people. So.
Damn. Yeah.
And I have learned one other thing. You can find the sugar, or you can find the shit in any situation. It all depends on where you want to look.
That's true.
I was given, you wouldn't think there'd be anything good for having a brain tumor, but in March 11, 2013, 3/11/13, I went down to the VA hospital in Columbia, South Carolina to get a follow-up MRI. And that's where I met my wife. She's an MRI tech.
Nice.
Did you lie to her? Did you tell her you were an infantry guy?
No, she saw me lick my eyebrows. She was
okay.
Nice.
Saw the skills.
That's how I got my wife.
Yeah, well,
go ahead, buddy.
That story sounds awesome, except for the fact that he was on chemo, so his eyebrows were actually in a bag, and he just licked.
Yeah, he just licked the bag.
So it's not like it was fucking high speed or anything.
I'd been cancer free. That was back to my 10-year fucking checkup, dickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
He time-stamped it, buddy. He time-stamped it. So
yeah, he time-stamped it. I don't know how to read timestamp.
Yeah, 10 years after the fact. Okay.
Hey,
but,
Jimmy,
go ahead.
How was it? Like everything that happened with you happened super fast. I remember coming back from Korea, and you were doing chemo and already MEBing, getting out of the Army, and then it was like less than 6 months. You were gone out of the Army, and basically just, nobody heard from you for a while. Like, how was that?
I got diagnosed in January of 03, and they retired me in June of 05. So that was like 2.5 years. Yeah, that was a calf rope.
Yeah. So but you weren't around. You know what I mean?
This is true.
You weren't around the battalion anymore, is what I'm saying. Like, so all your friends, all that shit, like, how was that, like, getting into that system and then not being around the boys?
A lack of support, from who you knew,
One of the best days, I was going through chemo, and I came back to Bragg for a checkup or something or other, because I did all my chemo stuff in Charlotte. I lived in South Carolina, just across the state line, and the battalion commander let me move back. He said, when you get well, when I want you to, your job is to get well and spend time with your family. When I want you back here, I'll call you. So I pretty much moved back home, and they took good care of me. And I came back one day to the unit. Nobody was there. They were all out at OP. Which OP across?
OP 13.
Yeah, it was at 13 with Purdue, and I went out there, and Grimaldi and Purdue were there, and they all come out there. It's like, hey man, what's going on? And I was fat, and I went from 180 to 240 in 8 months because they had me on steroids.
Yeah, boy, that'll do it.
It wasn't the good steroids, though, guys.
No.
It wasn't.
It wasn't D-ball.
It wasn't yoked out Jimmy. Let's just say that.
I've been told I look like a white nutty professor because my face got all fat.
There you go. So when did you start bringing veterans to your property?
That's I acquired the property, and my wife was actually at work one day, and a veteran came in, and she was telling him about I hunt. And he said, your husband needs to lease my property. And I started leasing it for $300 a year. I leased it for a couple of years. Then his health started going downhill, and I got the chance to buy it before it closed. He passed, and then it got into a trust, and I was still able to buy it afterwards. So it was meant for me to have this piece of property. And as soon as it happened, our old battalion commander, Colonel Parker, he has a nonprofit as well in North Carolina, does similar things. And he told me about it. I was like, man, what a great idea. So when I started kicking around the idea, everything took off way faster than I ever thought it would. And it was meant to be. I actually had to slow shit down to get it to catch up with it. But it was having some of the old guys down there to hunt. One of the guys in the unit was kind of stupid and did some dumb shit. And we got him out there to hang out. Got a bunch of guys from the Charlie Company to come down there.
Is that
Old
Buddy?
Battalion Command. I think it was 9.
No,
Yeah,
I
he came
wasn't
down
the
there.
stupid one, but I was there. I was there, guys. I just wasn't I haven't been caught. The stupid part hasn't caught up yet. It will. Don't worry.
So Jimmy, how often do these hunting events happen, and how many people can go out there? And
I try to keep it at 4. I've got the 4 bunk beds and a couch. I mean, I can do 5, 6 people there, but it's too hard to keep up with. I try to keep it at 3 hunters plus me is 4 people. It's just too much to keep track of. I can take 4 or 5 guys fishing at a time. I've got 2 boats. I got a pontoon boat for the lake and a John boat for the river. Do catfishing and stripers, and just get out there, relaxing and enjoying it in the evening.
Is there like a huge waiting list for anybody that's watching and says, "Hey, this sounds awesome. I want to do this. I want to sign up for this."
Reach out to me. I break out the calendar. I've got January and February are pretty much filled up. March is filling up. So I'm about 2 or 3 months out for the hog season. Never goes out. That's the good thing about it. So,
and do you get does South Carolina do tags for hogs? Do you get paid for them?
No, sir.
Oh, that'd be a way to go. We should talk to them. Talk to some South Carolina people and be like, "Hey, can we get paid to kill these hogs here for you?" Like, that might help out.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy, do they contact you through your website?
Say again?
They contact you through your website?
That I've also got a Facebook page, Warriors for the Outdoors on Facebook. Okay. And either way, that's between the 2 of them. That's the best way to do it. Send me an email on the website.
All right, we need 2 stories from you. 1, what's your best hunting story? And then 2, give us your best buddy story, and it only needs to have 10% truth in it. So let's go with the hunting story first, and then we'll jump to the buddy.
Oh,
you're talking about with me or with a veteran?
With the groups, yeah.
There's so many. I've had people come down there and just so many people get their first deer, come down there without a gun. I let them borrow a gun and shoot their first deer, and they're shaking like crazy, and they're like, "Man, that's the best thing ever!" And get them started. People that have been deer hunting all their lives come down there and shoot their first pig. I've got 2 thermal scopes on AR platforms, so we shoot them day or night, and it's got several cool videos. It just the fact to hang out and the place where I'm at, it's very little there's very little background noise. I mean, the road's out there, but not a whole lot. And it's peaceful. It's just a place to get out and relax. And
I don't know if you know this, but AR stands for assault rifle, just so you're all tracking. For those of you watching.
But anyway, the thing that Jimmy is also not telling you yet is that so he's got that cabin with 4 bunk beds, but he built the majority of that cabin by himself. But he's also had a bunch of veterans that have come down there, and then they hunt, but they also put that cabin together, and that cabin is baller as fuck for a cabin. Like, it's nice. It's a nice.
The local Lowe's there, not too far from us, donated all the lumber for it on the exterior, the frame, the outside boards. And then I got another buddy of mine that cuts trees for a living, gave us a bunch of pine logs. Another buddy's got a sawmill, came down there, milled up the boards for us. We ran it through a planer. So it's all rough cut lumber on the inside. Outside is plywood, T111 siding. And it was, I've got a lot of memories, a lot of time, elbow grease in it, but very little capital in it from us because so much was donated.
That's awesome. Yeah. Now I know Buddy asked you that question to get away from the next story. So let's get to the Buddy back.
He doesn't remember anything because
he does. Actually, I've heard when you're going through chemo, your memory comes back like unbelievably well. So I'm pretty sure this is a very truthful story. Yeah.
That's bullshit. But
yeah.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Yeah. I'm tracking.
Yeah, there's so many funny, Buddy gets in his rants and just starts saying shit. You're like, how's this motherfucker not choked on air yet? Just
He chokes on a lot of other shit. So just ask him about it.
Yeah.
Which is acceptable. It's
Nothing wrong with that.
2021, Dave. Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not. It's fine.
Listen, I'll be
Well, in
honest
Dave's
with you.
bloodline, that's frowned upon. So
There's
What? Go ahead, Jimmy. I'll listen to you.
everybody there remembers. Everybody here remember Jeremy Craig?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
bullet.
That's a crazy motherfucker.
Yeah, man.
Which story about Jeremy Craig we gonna talk about?
The clown mask.
Yeah. Your analysis? Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. That I've known Buddy. He got there as like private buddy and left there as he made corporal. And then,
I think
he
you
made
met him
corporal,
as a
then he
staff
made
sergeant because that's how I knew him, as a staff sergeant for like 10
No,
years.
but Jimmy was there.
decade.
Jimmy was there when Charlie Company was real, not made out of you fucking nerds.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Hardcore dudes.
From my understanding, our deployment was a real one tomorrow. I'm just saying, but let's go.
I mean, the Afghanistan one. Hey, were you there when Anderson was sacrificing goats to dispel the Russian spirits? Or did you leave?
That was
already?
that was in Iraq.
No, that was in Afghanistan.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think he was in Deco. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
He had to get moved because his squad complained that he was sacrificing goats to dispel Russian demons.
You're right. He was just hovering in Samara, right? Hovering. We love you, Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah. Leave me here to die. So
Hey, Jimmy, if guys come down and visit you, what kind of equipment do they need to bring? Do you supply all the equipment? Do you take donations for equipment? How does that work?
If you want to bring your gun, you're welcome to. A lot of guys want to come down there with 22s and shit like that. You need my recommendation is nothing smaller than 243. It's more shot placement. And a lot of dudes want to bring an AR-15 and shoot 223, and that's good for plinking and shooting varmints and shit, but not for. I've seen pigs get jaws blown off and run off and never get them, and I don't like that shit.
Yeah, but I heard that the 223 actually explodes in the body. Is that true?
Well, another thing is a lot of idiots like to come down there and shoot the same rounds from the military, the full metal jacket bullets, and they just pass through it, and that's unethical, and it's actually against the law to hunt with that.
The green tip.
Yeah, the hollow points they kind of explode if they hit a bone, and sometimes they can be good, sometimes they can be bad, because you never shoot a pig in the shoulder because you'll never find them. You can either shoot them in the head or shoot them in the guts because for some reason they can't handle it. They'll just fall over. Kind of like Buddy, you can take a shot in the guts and just fall over.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny on a lot of different reasons, because I don't know whether you're talking about like a shot in the gut or a shot in the gut.
Yeah. Or a shot in the gut.
No clarification required on this one. Let's just pass by this.
So again, for those of you watching for the first time, I know we have a couple people on Gruntworks that are commenting that have watched for the first time. We appreciate you watching. But at Veteran Trash Talk, we created a community to simply just support each other. Whether even if you're Navy or Marines, we don't care, right? Like our producer Muffin Fingers, he's fucking he's a Marine and all that kind of stuff. But we would like to promote veteran-owned businesses, nonprofits, for-profits, or anybody that supports them. So again, I know a lot of you, especially on in the entitled veteran state, don't understand that it costs money to do things, regardless of how you want to look at life. Okay, if you want to do things, it costs money. So please look up Jimmy Bates and look up the Warriors for the Outdoors. And if you can, whether it's $5 or $1,000, right? He's doing a great thing in South Carolina. And
let me hold on. Let me say this much. I have never charged a veteran. I've never said you got to pay this much to come down. You want to come down there and hunt or fish? You come down there. You're going to leave with some sort of groceries probably and some good times. If you can make a donation, great. If not, very little money has had to come out of my pocket. I spent $350 about every month and a half on corn. About 50 bags of corn at a time cost me $350. The pigs fucking eat a lot.
Yeah, hey Jimmy, I have to explain this to people because what we've learned.
I understand.
What we've learned in this community is that they can't stand paying for anything. So it's like, no, look, you have to. Like we like. But
I was a pack clerk. Once.
Yeah.
So why should I ever have to pay for anything else? I'm a goddamn veteran.
Yeah, I'm a veteran. Yeah, and so again, we're the ones. And we'll get into it after Jimmy signs off. We'll get into a little bit more of a political discussion today. But like I said, we don't like to do politics because they just break shit, right? We can help each other. So, and again, in a community,
That's true.
Like, why rely on Washington? And that's what Veteran Trash Talk, partner with Gruntworks, is all about. It's like, get on there and we will find somebody that can help you. All right. And sometimes that help means get off your fucking ass and do something. Right. So like a lot of people don't like hearing that either. But yeah, so go, please, guys, if you can, go to Warriors for the Outdoors and, you know, get him some scratch so he can keep doing what he's doing for veterans and helping everybody out.
Also,
you give him $1,000. That's a lot of months worth of corn.
Yep.
Really? Yeah.
and then shit, fucking brain fart.
We got a brain fart.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that from the chemo or was that
the funny thing? The funny thing about Jimmy and Jimmy's cancer, I mean, there's nothing funny about cancer, but the funny thing about Jimmy and Jimmy's cancer is that Jimmy is probably the only person that I know that, I mean, he's just like the rest of us. Like, we come off as dickheads. Like, we're the people that people introduce. Is like, he's kind of an asshole, but you get used to it. Jimmy's diagnosis was basically started because he was more of a dickhead than normal, and they were like, Jimmy, like, what the fuck is going on?
You good, bro?
Jesus Christ, like, you're an asshole, but right now you're being like a real asshole.
The reason that happened is the anatomy. The spinal cord in the brain is like a big fountain. The fluid from the spinal fluid goes up in the brain and lubricates it like a fountain, comes back down. My tumor grew in the drain, so all the fluid could go up there, and it just caused a bunch of pressure. That's what caused my headache so bad. It just kind of came to a head, and the fluid couldn't come back down. I was getting fucking. It's like they call it the Doberman Syndrome, because when Dobermans get older, they get mean because their brain swells and
it expands, and their heads are too small to handle it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Buddy, you'll never have that problem.
Yeah, I would say Buddy's never had that
plenty
problem.
of room, guys. Look at that. Plenty of room. I'm probably going to get nicer with age. I'm just saying, because my brain has already started shrinking.
No, that's a good point for those of you watching out there that have veteran friends, you know, or, you know, active duty, whatever, that are assholes like all of us. If we're extremely being like extreme assholes, ask us what's wrong. Because that's probably a good sign.
And you've got to say, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's how you got to ask it too.
Yeah.
An asshole back. Yeah. That's usually, you know, how that works.
But all right. Hey, Jimmy, do you have to leave or because
I had a big family. I was up here in the hunt club. My uncle was a president of the hunt club, and there's a big family thing, medical stuff, and I'm getting all our stuff, taking it back. It's just a big shit show with family and in-laws, and I got to go home and decompress and relax.
You're good, man. We appreciate you coming on last minute.
We appreciate you coming on.
Hey, Jimmy, I just want to say real quick. Go ahead.
I truly appreciate you guys having me. Feel free to reach out to me. If you get on the Facebook page, Warriors for the Outdoors, or the warriorsoutdoors.org website, either one, the ways to get a hold of me. Man, you got any questions? You got anybody you know that would enjoy it? Come down, man. You want to fly in? You got strap money? You fly in, I'll come get you. We'll hang out for a while. I like to do in the spring and late summer, do what's called a cast and blast. We'll hunt one night and fish one night, and then send you back home. It's a great time. I haven't had anybody come down that did not enjoy themselves. I've had people come down. I don't know if you guys remember Jeff Payne. He came down. We caught probably a 50-something pound catfish. Several people have caught their personal best like 2 or 3 times one night.
Nice.
I just love going out and having it. And fishing stuff. All the rods and reels are mine. I've paid for them, and I have way more fun going out there and letting you guys catch fish, reel all the fish in, and make it, because you can't go out and do shit with somebody's going to do something goofy and get a good laugh out of it at some point or another.
For sure. Hey, before you sign off, I think Cliff had something for you.
No, I just wanted to say, hey, you know, Jimmy, I don't know if you know anything about me, but I'm a suicide survivor, and I publicly speak about, you know, my suicide attempt and PTSD and mental health, and served 34 years in the military. I just really want to say, I went down and hunted with a good friend of mine in Missouri a couple of weeks ago. That's the first time I was in the woods in 20 years, and it was the best experience ever. And I just want to say, I really want to say thank you for what you do with these veterans and getting them out in the woods and kind of looking at their PTSD and their mental issues and what they're having or dealing with in a different way. And just really letting them know that, just to feel better about themselves for that moment when they're down there. And then when they come back home and maybe they're having those issues and problems again, they can go back and think about what they did with you down there, Jimmy, and go out there and look at the pictures you have on your website. I was looking at it as we were talking. And, it's just really a great thing you're doing down there. And it's an honor to meet you. And thanks again for all that you're doing.
Absolutely. I've got a video of my cabin. Is there any way I could text to one of you guys and put it up on the feed?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, Chris will probably get mad about that because it's no notice, but yeah, we'll definitely put it on our page. So send it. Just hit us up on Messenger or email it to Big Earl at Veteran Trash Talk, or Buddy, give it to Buddy.
Yeah, you can just give it to me and I'll send it in. Hey, before you go, also, and when Jimmy talks about it, he talks about one guy coming down there. But there's, like you said, there's room for 3 people down there. And this stuff it's great, but the hunting is awesome, the fishing is awesome. But when I was down there with Jimmy and Brian Cox and a bunch of other guys.
Shut up for a minute. I remember what I was going to. January 29th, we're having a big get together at my place. Everybody that ever had anything to do with working on the cabin, that was what I brain farted earlier. We're having a big cookout for them on January 29th. So just anybody that's on here that had anything to do with it, anybody that's got anything to do with the organization at all, it just my way of saying thank you. I got a buddy of mine that a couple of years ago we raffled off a gun. He won it. He's got a barbecue business. He's going to come cater it for us for nothing. He put my heating and air unit in there for cost, and it's just some great shit out there.
What barbecue place is that?
It's
Doesn't matter. It's in South Carolina. It's better than the one you go to.
Yeah, I am in Texas.
It's called Doco Smoke. Smoke.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do that for him, buddy, because that guy seems cool. So, hey, if you're in South Carolina, go to
I got
that.
what you're doing.
It's called a plug, buddy.
It's called a plug, buddy.
I got it. Yeah. I'm not good. I'm not good.
If it was up to Buddy, nobody would support anybody, okay? You're all on your own. All right. So
yeah, true. Hey, but what I was gonna say before I was so rudely interrupted by our guest, Jesus, Jimmy, was that
Jimmy show?
That no kidding. What are you fucking thinking, bro? And the big thing, no, but for real, when we go down there, he's got room for one, or he's got room for 3-4 guys, whatever. But if you're gonna go down there and you're gonna go down there because you're having issues, invite some of your other veteran buddies from your unit or your team or whatever and go down there, because the hunting is great, the fishing is great, but at the end of the day, what's cathartic about the entire experience
conversations
is that you're down there with your boys. The best time that I had down there was sitting around he's got a fire pit right there beside the cabin where you gut or field dress the deer and the pigs or whatever, and you sit there waiting on pigs to show up, and you hang out and you talk and you tell old stories about old people and you reconnect. And then you realize what we have all realized is that it doesn't matter whether it's been 20 years or 20 minutes. Everybody's still got the same stories. It's the same dudes, the same personalities, and they're all just as lost as you are in a field of people that don't have the same outlook that you do. So
well said, buddy. Well said.
I blacked out. What happened?
That was spot on.
Yeah, but like I said, when you get in touch with them, have a couple buddies in mind that can go down there with you at the same time. And Jimmy is just a facilitator, and he's facilitating you kind of decompressing and linking up with your boys and having conversations and having another shared experience, and just showing you that it doesn't have to be over because you're not in the unit or in the army or whatever anymore.
True.
Hold on. One of my pet peeves is if you come down and you bring some buddies, and you want to come back again, don't bring the same buddies. Bring other buddies. Share them. Bring
Is
other
that
buddies.
what Buddy does all the time? He brings the same people?
Yeah, he only gets very special things.
I'm surprised he's even allowed down there. But hey, it was a pleasure having you, Jimmy.
Yeah, for sure.
And I hope that this show, boosts you up a little bit and gets you some stuff that you need and all that kind of stuff. So, hey, fam, go out there and give Jimmy Bates at, say it again, warriorsfortheoutdoors.org.
Yep.
Right. Go there and donate some money. Just do it. All right. Because why not? You were just going to buy booze with it anyways. But right.
It is through PayPal. I've got Venmo and Cash App and all that stuff. PayPal charges you. The rest of them don't. Feel free to get on. Contact me is the best way.
He will accept Bitcoin too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does my church.
Yeah. I'm sure they do.
Yeah. They have endorsed. The Lord has endorsed cryptocurrency.
That's right.
Got taking shib right now or what?
Yeah. But that's
What's up, Jimmy?
Guy's name again.
Cliff.
Cliff,
Say that again?
please reach out to me. Thank you for your service. I'm glad you're still with us. I'm glad it didn't go through. And reach out to me, please. I'd like to get you out. Have a good time.
Okay, I did. I went on your Facebook page and liked it, so you can follow me back, or you can follow me at Clifford. Bauman.com. You can, but yeah, just I'll make sure they have my contact information. We'll get in contact.
Hell yeah.
As I go out and do speaking events, as I've gotten involved with Veterans Trash Talk, and I talk about them and what great organization, what they do for the veteran community. As I go out and start doing speaking events, I would also like to, mention your organization and what you do and what you do for the veterans out there. So I'll give that up to you also.
This is what it's all about. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, take it easy, brother. Hey,
Deuces, brother.
Yeah, those of you watching, when he leaves, there's going to be about 20 seconds of craziness. So
drink break. I need to grab a beer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go grab a drink, and we'll get after it here in a second.
Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks so much for having me.
No, it's
Thanks,
our
Jimmy.
pleasure.
Take care.
It's our
Love you,
pleasure.
Jimmy. We'll see you in about a month.
All right. Love you too, brother.
All right. Later.
All right, so we're still live, but again, the screen's going to go through some panic attacks. I guess I'll stay here and talk to the crew. We are, Yeah, no, we're already good, so it worked out. I guess I'll talk for a little bit because Dave just sat back down, and remember, we are still live.
Yep.
So if you watched a sports show today, all right, we had a fun show. We brought a guy who was a guest on prior, and I got triggered a few times by some of the things that were said. And remember, Dave's wearing the shirt, all right, to quit being a triggered pansy. Now remember, everybody needs to go buy that shirt at shop.veterantrashtalk.com. The reason why is you will learn a lot about yourself once you start reminding everybody else who's triggered. Right. You start finding out how many times you get triggered during a day. Right. And it's like, holy cow, I am triggered about this. And then it's a reminder that I should not become a pansy right now. I should do everything in my power to turn this into a positive. Like our guest Jimmy said, is like find the sugar in it, not the shit. Right. So, and then if you can't turn it into a positive, right, then leave it alone. Right. Like just find somebody else, put something in between it. Right. Find somebody else to help you out with it. And I guess that's a mini book of Earl, but I know we're going to trigger we're going to ruffle some feathers today. So if you stuck around and hung out, should be fun because we usually don't talk about political stuff on the show. So this could be a good time. I mean, Buddy's so triggered he can't even unmute it before he says it.
I wasn't talking to you, so I was talking to other people. Calm down. Quit being a triggered
pansy. Well, you're the one that's a pansy right now. So, and again, if you wear that shirt, it doesn't mean you like Trump. It doesn't mean you like Biden. It simply just means
quit being a triggered pansy.
Quit being a triggered fucking pansy. Right?
I'm implying that
Get over
both
yourself.
people, conservatives and liberals, can both be triggered.
Weird, huh? Isn't that
crazy how that works, huh?
So fuck out of here. It's like, oh, you must be a Trumper. Okay.
I'm conservative. I'm not a pansy.
Yeah. But anyways, we got Cliff as a guest host because Trigger Joe Britson, he's got the Rona. So,
Speedy recovery, Joe.
Yeah, I think
don't die on us.
We've all gotten the Rona on this show except for Buddy. Because
I've had the Rona before. Thank you very much.
Did you have?
You did. Nice. Documented or well?
No, it's not documented. Look here.
You don't know if you had it. All right.
Don't go to no
See what I did there?
I ain't going to no doctors. I just couldn't taste and couldn't smell for about a month.
Oh, you had the Rona then. You had the Rona. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there is that conspiracy theory that you don't go to the hospital with coronavirus because you're just going to die. Because they get paid a lot of money if you die in that hospital.
Yeah. Put you on a ventilator, then kill you later.
$57,000 if you die with a ventilator. Okay, that's what they get. So stay
Those
away
are
from
facts
hospital.
too. Those are facts. That's not just some made up shit. Like look it up.
That's right. Google it.
Yeah.
And again,
are you trying to say that corporate hospitals would be incentivized to not give you a treatment so that you die of something?
Not give you extra
like I said, I got a couple more months before I'm officially out, and then I can say some stuff.
Then we can really say some shit.
I can't say it right now. All right, but
I'm officially out. I can say it.
Yeah, Cliff can. So hey, that being said, Cliff is
1 September.
Cliff is covering for Joe, which should actually boost our ratings a little bit more. Cliff,
put sunglasses on.
You could, you got to smoke weed first.
You got to chew on your fingers a little bit too.
I'm just glad I don't have to cry today.
You got to puff the Magic Dragon and then put your glasses on, and then every once in a while we got to be like, Cliff, wake up, huh? Yeah. And so
I got a buddy of mine in Missouri. His wife grows some really good shit, and she was texting me just now that she's sitting on the porch watching us smoking her big bong. So
nice.
Hell yeah! Shout out to her. Yeah.
Shout out to her. Rock on.
I will throw.
She makes the best gummies in the world, by the way.
There you go. Well, hey, does she want to sponsor us, and we can get those gummies out? That's what we can do.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see. But she hits me up.
Yeah, I'll hit her up in a year. Whoa, and some change. Yeah.
So, all right, Cliff. This is your first time as a guest host on the Trash Talk Hour, so you get a soapbox. So let's hear it. What has Cliff got to say?
You know, the biggest thing that bothers me with everything going on in the world with coronavirus and the Maxwell case going on with these pedophiles and people flying on the planes. You know, it just really irritates me, and it's sickening about, you know, what these people have got away with over the years and continue to get away with it. If you're a politician, a movie star, or whatever, you can do all this illegal bullshit and fucking walk free. But if any of us did it here, we'd all be in jail.
Oh, we'd be done.
Know, if I would have done half that shit in the military that some of these people do, I would have lost my SCI clearance in a heartbeat. And I'd be fucking broken in jail somewhere. You know, and this dual system we got going on, justice system's got to stop, and it's got to change. And it's not going to stop and change till the American people stand up and say, we fucking had enough of it. And it doesn't matter if you're conservative or liberal or whatever you know, these people getting away with the shit they're doing is wrong, and it has to stop because it's a slippery slope.
Spot on, and we're not calling for a militia here, okay?
No, that's not calling on that.
Right? No,
that's buddy. Shut up! All right.
hey, Chris.
Spot on, Cliff.
I'm gonna go join the Florida State Guard.
At the end of the day,
standing up.
At the end of the day, even David had to pick up a rock at some point.
Right. Mm-hmm. So that's a little biblical stuff there, but let's. Whoa! I didn't know Buddy read the Bible.
You're doing politics and religion?
Shit! This is about
let me drop a note to Chris here. Hey, we should get that scene from the movie Ants. You know, where the grasshopper explains what happens when the ants get upset, and he's like, "You do realize how many of them there are, right?" Mm-hmm. And he's like, and so we should probably just play that clip. Like anytime somebody like wants to talk about how Big Brother going to help them, just play that clip. And like I talked about earlier with why we started Veteran Trash Talk and why, again, I'm glad. I'm going to say her name. I'm going to say Lindsay Rowland. I'm glad. I'm glad that she's kind of back on speaking terms with us. Because again, we don't do politics on our page. All right. We just don't. Gruntworks does. That's great. Okay. We don't, because we don't have time for it. All right. We don't have time to talk about why Washington is screwing something up. All right. It doesn't
support our mission.
What good? What good does it do to argue the same thing over and over and over again. When I can just simply say, "Hey, buddy, you having a good day? Yeah. Hey, let's chat. All right. Let's. Well, I can't chat, but somebody on the page is going to chat with you, right? And then it's like, oh, I'm looking for work in New Hampshire. Well, guess what? I don't give a shit what congressman's doing. What? Let's find this guy a job in New Hampshire. Like that's how we take care of the community. That's how we ants step up and stop caring about Big Brother. If our community gets as big as we want it to get, as it will get, is eventually you won't have to go anywhere else except our page. All right, you go.
I need this. Boom, done. Yep.
Done.
Well,
Right.
and I will tell you, as I go out and I've done speaking events for a long time, and that's the biggest problem. There's a whole bunch of great programs out there, right? But how are you gonna know about all of them? And I've said this for years. If there's one place where we can go, where a veteran can go, or military member can go and hit up, you have Rally Point and you have some other good ones, but there's just that one place where they can go and they can kind of get a little bit of everything they need. It'd be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy, what do you got to talk about today? We could transfer over here. Hold on. I guess my child needs something out of her room. I'm going to mute for a second, but go ahead.
Oh, hey, wait 1 second. Kristen said that she'll make you guys gummies and send them. Just let her know. She just texted me.
I'll hit her up in about a year and a half.
I don't need a year.
I'm telling you what.
Buddy's got what? Buddy, you at what? 3 months now? 3 months left?
Yeah, 3 months. So by the time they get here, poof, ready.
There you go. She'll make up a fresh batch.
All right.
Go ahead, buddy.
You can't get mad at it. You can't get mad at my beautiful daughter, Caitlin. Like she's knocking, and I'm like, "What do you want? I need something out of my room."
She's also a football player, so she'll hit you.
That's Natalie. Natalie's
That's
a
Natalie.
football player. Yeah.
Oh, she will
Get
be
your
a
shit together,
football player.
buddy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help you. Jesus.
Just a little bit of truth to Buddy's statement. She is your daughter, but yeah. Anyway.
Maybe.
So, you need my honesty cap right now? Is that what we're doing? Or
Yeah,
Well, just whatever. I mean, it's
are you going to help your daughter? What are we doing?
no, he already did that.
Oh, well, you didn't even go anywhere. Anyway,
Jesus, Buddy.
Yeah, it's called leading. It's called leading, buddy.
I'm just gonna caveat and vignette and
Are you going to tell us a vignette?
piggyback.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You don't vignette things.
You guys did. So individual responsibility. Like everybody puts their trust in the government or some large organization to make change, whether it's climate change or change for veterans or change for this or change for that. Well, if you do the right thing, everybody's got their little piece of the pie. If you do the right thing and everybody takes care of their shit, well, then the whole pie is going to taste all right. You don't have to wait for the, big government or someone else to make your life better. You have to make your life better. And if you do what you can do and you control what you can control and just tell people, you don't have to be triggered. You can literally, if somebody says something that you don't like, you can just I'm not going to do that. That's not what I'm going to do because that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boom.
It's too easy. You're not triggered. You're just like, you do what you want to do. If you want to think that you can, live your life however you want with no foundation and no basis and any logic at all, then you go ahead and see how that works out. It's probably
it was
not
called the
gonna work
70s.
out, but I'm not going to do that. But everybody runs around and they're like, well, he did this, so I'm going to do this because, well, that's what he did. Like he's taking money, so I'm going to take money. Don't do it. If that's not the way that you want to live your life, then take a little bit of individual responsibility. You worry about climate change and then recycle or go get glass bottles or don't buy water bottles. Don't do whatever and do your part. And if everybody does it, well, that's how change actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
Change doesn't happen because the government makes a law. Change doesn't happen because change happens when the masses stand up and say, hey, we collectively are not going to do this. Like that, the Maxwell trial that's going on. Why do they get away with it? Because we allow them to get away with it. Because we find out that, oh God, Trump was on that plane. Well, maybe we shouldn't pay attention to it because maybe we'll find out something bad about somebody that we don't want. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you're fucking little girls or you're fucking little boys or you're into the sex trafficking trade or you're doing all of the things that I personally, individually don't agree with, I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to get behind you. And I don't give a fuck what it's about. That's
right.
That's how change happens. Like when people stand up and say, hey, look, like I got it. Black Lives Matter. We're going to that's fine. But my life also matters. So does that person's life. Yeah. So does that person's life. We're not going to just.
Yeah. The founders of BLM are all living in Brentwood right now. I think next in the Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the donations to them, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But when we stand up and decide that we're going to live with our own principles and live a life that kind of goes back to our foundations as people, then everything will get a whole lot better. But while we sit back and be quiet and let people run their mouth because we don't want to offend them, you don't have a right to not be offended.
Right.
You have a right to walk away if you're offended. You have a right to but you don't have a right to not be offended by somebody telling you something.
And like Mike Tyson says, it's like we got a generation of people from the internet that say whatever they want because they're never going to get punched in the face. Right. So you have a right, like Buddy said, to walk away. You also have a right to say something.
Yeah.
All right. But then like he talked about with personal responsibility, you now might have to own up to what you just said. Right. And if what you just said triggered somebody, right, like you are responsible for that. You're not responsible for that person's actions. They are.
Yeah.
But like, you had your hand in that. And again, when I know Dave wants to get into this Giselle, whatever her name is, Giselle Maxwell case.
Ghislaine? I don't know.
Ghislaine, something like that, she comes from a very prominent family, right? She has been with the Uber elites for a long, long time. And this will trigger Dave a little bit. And this is what I talk about when
when
I say when you make a correlation, all right, you got to make sure that your people are on the same wavelength, right? Otherwise, what I do in my free time is a lot different than what Chris Tucker does in his free time. All right. And if you see what I do is I tend to kind of hang out with other veterans. I tend to hang out with other people in the military. All right. And or, friendly neighbors that are in my community. Well, guess what? Like Cliff said, we allow it. We allow these Hollywood elites to get away with this shit. Right. We do. We keep watching their movies. All right. We keep, giving them platforms to do what they got to do. And again, bring up the triggered stuff. If it's kneeling for the national anthem, that might trigger some people. Don't watch the NFL.
Yep.
Okay.
I haven't watched it for 3 years.
But I still do because, again, that's their right to do that.
Isn't that what we fight for in the military?
It's what we fight for.
Freedom
right?
of
Now,
speech and
I
stuff,
don't agree with taking a knee for that
Same here.
at all. But I also don't agree with playing the national anthem in a game between North Carolina and South Carolina. That is not a national event. Right? Like, so when we start doing that, okay, and this guy wants to take a knee, oh, well, like there's 130 other guys in that field that are standing up with their hand over their heart that are about to go do battle on that football field. And I love football, so I'm going to watch it. Right? Now, when it comes to, am I going to buy anything from Nike anymore? Probably not. Right? Unless it's on sale. I'm probably not going to buy anything from Nike anymore because the truth comes out about where they do their manufacturing. All right. Who's paying them all their money? Right. You had the Chinese tennis star. She spoke out, right, about the abuse.
What Chinese tennis star? Nobody knows
where.
What do you mean?
Who's that again?
Fake news. Fake news.
Go ahead. If you haven't read about this, but she went missing.
Yeah.
For a while. And, because she had spoken out about the great Chinese government, right?
Can't do that. Communism.
And so the NBA, all right, which I like to watch certain NBA games, right? I'm not a huge NBA fan, but there are games that I will watch, right? There when the stars are in there and they're doing what they're doing, I'm watching that talent, I'm appreciating it. Okay. But the NBA has bent over for China. All right. Why? Because money. And like we talked about earlier, you follow the money. Hey, LeBron. Well, you were making fun of that kid, Kyle Rittenhouse, who now, by the way, is not guilty, whether you like it or not. You made
Isn't he suing him right now? Isn't he suing him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a whole lot of people using this.
That kid's going to be like the richest 18-year-old ever. Yeah.
You made fun of that kid for going through a traumatic experience, whether he was right or wrong, but now we've found out that he was right, okay, by a jury of his peers, okay, whether, like I said, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you say about the Chinese tennis star that went missing?
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn fucking thing. Do you know why? Because
it doesn't follow it doesn't follow. Yeah,
China is paying him.
It's called a
He's
bias.
at a re-education camp right now.
That's the same group of people, or even the same person who will, talk about the repercussions. Good God. Hello.
Hello, Alabama.
Lula.
Yeah.
Is that the cordial? Is that the cordial? I haven't seen the cordial.
Yeah, unique New York.
Unique New York.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Anyway, talk about the repercussions of slavery, but then won't talk about slavery that's going on right now. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be mad about something that happened 200 years ago, and at the country who, if you go through a timeline, is the first and only country. It's the country that stopped the global slave trade for the most part. And then not say anything about the fact that you're making hundreds of millions of dollars off of what amounts to indentured servitude and slavery in China.
It's a bias, man.
It's not bias. It's just not paying attention to things that benefit you and paying attention to negative things that also benefit you. And then it's like the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. You're going to make fun of that kid for crying when his life is on the line, when you cry during goddamn basketball games. They're just games. If you lose the game, you're still making millions upon millions of dollars, and you'll cry because you win or because you lose. That kid was about to go to prison for the rest of his life if the jury found him guilty of doing something that was not against the law. And you're going to make fun of him for crying, but you can look like a freaking bitter beer face kid every time you win a championship or lose a championship. You lost more than Jordan. You're still no Jordan, homie.
Yeah.
It hurt my feelings because I was a LeBron supporter like a decade ago, right? Like I was a huge LeBron fan because of his foundation, because of everything that he was doing to send kids to college, right? And doing all this great stuff. And then again, Dave knows this because we have this conversation sometimes about people and how I read them, and I'm like, there's something off about this guy, right? There's something that I'll hang out with him. I'll have a beer with him, but I'm not doing anything monetarily with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't trust this guy. Right. And because he's not ethical. So LeBron James, you had such a glorious start, and you were doing all the right things. And then, maybe it was Hollywood, maybe it was, something got to you, and now
going to LA.
Yeah, you're just a poser, bro.
It's let's face it, it's your circle of friends. It's the same problem that we have in Washington, right? We have a group of people that supposedly represent the people of the United States, and they come from each of these sections. But how much time do they spend in those areas? They don't. They're in their own fishbowl with the same ideas circling around that freaking cesspool that is Washington, D.C.
Well, and we talked about this earlier, right? I'm in Virginia. I've been around the D.C. and capital area for a long time. And I said this earlier, the longer they're out in D.C., it becomes a big self-licking ice cream cone. And whether you're Republican or Democrat, these guys have their same agenda, and the agenda always gets closer and closer and closer.
And
together.
it's the same views, and they don't change. You have to either be right or left. Like they just don't come up with agreements. There's no in between, no in the middle. Yeah.
Right, and they won't. Yeah. Well, and it's the same thing. And it even goes back to like how veterans treat each other, right? Well, the people will say things because they know that's what those other people want to hear, but they don't say them if they're the right thing. Like, like seeing. And
they won't admit if they're wrong.
Yeah. Well, seeing one of your buddies that's doing something fucked up and going, "Hey man, you're fucked up. Stop doing that. What are you doing?"
Yep.
That's not what we're about. And then, but instead we'll be like, yeah, like okay, like fine, you're going to go do that. Oh, that's cool. Whatever makes you feel good. It's not going to be good for them in the future. Like it's not good for each of those parties to just tell each other, yeah, we're doing the great thing. And they've gotten so far, the pendulum for each of those parties has swung so far to the right, so far to the left, that they continue to tell each other, well, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do this. We have to do the next thing that's even more to the right or to the left so that we appease people. And then if you're in that party and you became part of that party where it was like in the middle or going slightly left or slightly right, and you continue to stay in there, now you have to agree with all this extreme, stupid bullshit on the left and the right in order to maintain your ability to be in that group.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like
there is nothing in the middle.
Yeah, well, the group that you're supposed to be a part of is fucking American. Like you're supposed to be an American. Democrat and Republican, they're supposed to have the same goal in mind. It's not to further the party. It's not to further Republicans.
Further the agenda, their agenda.
Well,
and
that ship has sailed. Like
American people have been forgotten for a lot of years.
Correct.
That's the problem.
Our two-party system is insane. Like
it's not a two-party system anymore. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah, it's a one-party system.
You get the McConnells, you get the people that's been in DC for 30
Pelosi,
years.
Schumer,
but outside of the elected
Boehner
officials,
before he left,
get into the GS employees who run everything in the background. Right, that's the swamp, and that it takes an act of Congress to fire a GS employee. I know that I've gone through that many times in my career, where it took 2 years to remove somebody from their job. Going through the unions and everything like that. It's not easy to do. That's the problem. That's the swamp. Elected officials can come and go, but these people are always there.
Yes, employees
Cliff,
are the people that that they're the ones that control the information where it's going, and they're the ones that are messaging bullshit from one to another.
Yeah, you got to remind me about that. Hey, Cliff, I'm going to send you a text after the show. You got to remind me about that comment in a couple months because I got something for that too. But when I get out, but no, we'll hit you about it. But I know Dave never talks on the Trash Talk Hour. And
I talk a lot more lately.
He never.
I'm waiting until I get out. I'm waiting until I get out.
So we kind of always cut him off because we don't really give a shit. Because he never talks. So it's like well, Dave's gonna shut up, Dave. All right, like let's get to we're gonna get to the funny people. But Dave, again, I do this on Facebook. He calls me a Facebook terrorist. But Buddy and Dave's we're talking about, and Cliff, is that you have the left and right, and then you have these circles where you watch a post and you watch it develop, right? And you watch, and I do this for fun. This is my hobby, right? Like you watch the post develop, and you see all of the same people get on there, and they just keep circle jerking each other off about how right they are, about how this is the way it is.
Yeah.
Yes. So then I get in there, old Big Earl, right, gets in there and says, well, what about this? Right. And then all of a sudden they lose their shit.
You would argue that it's daylight if it's daylight, just to do it.
Well, because I want you to look at it a different way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so just look at it a different way. Maybe it helps somebody.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it won't. Like I literally brought up Census Bureau stats about Philadelphia on a thread one time, and about how the average individual makes about $57,000 a year. The single male makes $57,000 a year in Philadelphia. A single male in El Paso, where I'm from, makes about $36,000 a year. So they are way below the poverty line in El Paso. And what I tried to bring up to them was that it only costs $27,000 a year to live as a single male in El Paso, right? In Philadelphia, you got to make $84,000 a year to live in the city of Philadelphia, right? So those numbers might be a little bit off, and it was a couple of years ago, but so when you say Philadelphia is great, it's like, is it? Because the average salary for a single person is not enough to live there. And yet these are the people that are saying, these big cities are the ones saying we need to raise minimum wage. Right. And it's like, sure, maybe we do. All right. Okay. I can listen to that argument, but are you coming from a place that the average salary can't even live where you live?
So
and yet you want us to act like you?
here's the problem.
We're going to let Dave talk.
Okay, well, let's let Dave talk. But can we talk about the fact that if that argument of raising minimum wage only works if you don't have a basic high school knowledge of economics?
Sure, buddy.
You're right.
Like I said, the argument of a living wage, right, is different, right? So that's when you get into the whole system of things. You don't just get into the education level of somebody working. All right, the whole system. How much does it cost to live there? Why does it cost that much to live there? What laws make it cost that much to live there? Right? Like what regulations? What all that kind of stuff. There's so much other stuff you have to unpile other than just raising the minimum wage.
Basic law of economics.
Well, it's not basic. See, economics gets really confusing, and everybody just wants to be basic with it.
Economics is super not confusing.
It's
literally
it can be a sum. It can be a sum.
No matter what you make.
Yeah.
Everything goes down to the supply and demand.
Right? Yeah. There's a lot of broke millionaires out there.
Yeah.
You're not going to get paid $5 billion a year to flip burgers at Burger King because there's a lot of people that don't have to have a skill and can flip burgers at Burger King.
Facts.
So
hey, right now McDonald's is giving bonuses to get hired.
They are.
So like I think it's like $2,000. Like so,
there's signs out here.
You know how long they're going to give those bonuses? Until McDonald's finds somebody that makes a machine that has one person loading hamburger patties.
Which they are already. They got machines.
I worked at McDonald's in high school.
You can be replaced.
I can make 120 burgers in 45 seconds.
And you have to get into
that's how good
morality.
All right?
The morality of replacing all of these people with a machine and automating those systems.
I got moved off the window at McDonald's my first day there. That was a bad idea to put me
put you on fries.
Yeah.
They had to
I worked at Taco Bell for 2.5 hours. It was the worst 2.5 hours of my life.
Yeah, when I was like I said, I worked at the window of McDonald's for one day until I got moved to the grill.
They couldn't handle class clown of 98,
99. So I'm sitting there and it's dead, right? And somebody comes up and they're like, "Can I get a number one with a Coke?" All right, and I'm like, "Can you say that again? Give me a number one with a Coke." Can you say sorry, you're not coming in, Claire. You know, and they start getting real mad. So I've been triggering people since I was like 16, bro. Like, you know, so it's like, and it's like, and then they'd be like, "I just want to," and I'm like, "Oh, number one with a Coke, yeah, pull around, man." Like it's just like I said, like,
you were done.
You can have fun at these jobs, bro. It's okay.
Yeah.
But Dave, talk about
people too serious nowadays. They learn how to laugh again.
Dave, talk about how you post one thing on Facebook about this Maxwell case, and then all of a sudden it's a 40 comment fucking argument.
And it was really just a 40 comment argument with one person. You know,
I tried to get in there. I tried to fire it up.
You did. You were just doing what you do. You know, because I think you and I see semi eye to eye on this. And no, it's really, I think this whole case that's going on is like the tip of the spear. Like this is a big deal, but we're not really getting much media coverage from it. Now you can definitely Google. You can definitely Google it and get information. It's been going on for like 5 or 6 days now. And what I was seeing as it was, you know, the Ghislaine Maxwell trial is coming up. My buddies on the far right, they're getting pumped. They're talking about, you know, all these names that are going to get dropped and everything, all these Hollywood elites that are going to get dropped. And oh shit, 4 days ago, the pilot in court says that Trump not flew once, but multiple times.
Because everybody tells the truth in court.
Well, let me. He didn't fly on Epstein's plane.
He flew on Epstein's plane
once,
4 times, multiple times, whatever it is. Multiple is more than
Mom
one.
was on there too.
So I got a little triggered that suddenly now everybody is trying to defend this when, like, listen, the facts may have changed. You know, 5, 7, 8 years ago when they said, you know, the flight log and everything where he only flew once and we were good because Trump, you know, the incident in Florida or whatever, like, hey, maybe it changed. Maybe Trump did have something to do with it. And if that's the case, don't try to fucking defend it. So people started getting triggered and everything. Like, plain and simple, I think he did have something to do with it. But you're so far right that you just can't agree on it because, oh my God, Daddy Trump did this or no way. And
well, I can't agree on it because you're using the pilot's testimony.
Well, we're using the pilot's testimony from 10 years ago saying that's what the pilot said.
I'm not using it. You are.
How is
But
that
just because
testimony?
somebody flew on his plane doesn't mean they
I'm
did
not
anything
using it.
bad.
Can I mediate?
I'm not saying that either. Cliff.
Not yet. We haven't even got started yet.
Go ahead, buddy.
Well, you're already getting triggered, and here's what it all comes down to.
That's why I'm wearing this shirt.
Just like every other story, whether it's the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, or it's the guy driving his
your mom
SUV
did Kyle
through
Rittenhouse.
a crowd of people that we're not paying attention to anymore because he happened to be a black guy with a long criminal record, or Trump on the plane, or Kevin Spacey on the plane, or Biden on the plane, or Prince Andrew on the plane. Here's the thing: we have a trial for a reason, right? And if you're going to be honest and you're going to be a judge of anything, making a judgment as to who is guilty or not guilty, or innocent or not innocent, at the beginning of a trial that is so big that we're just barely going to scratch the surface, and that you haven't gotten the information from because it's very censored and hard to get information in the United States for, which is also odd, right? Like, calm down. Everybody needs to have a little tactical patience. Do one of those 2505.
Yeah, we talked about
buddy.
Here's
Here's kind of what I was saying. Real quick though. Here's kind of what I was saying though. As a trial is coming up, people are already talking about individuals that were on that plane, like Bill Gates, Prince Andrew, whatever. But then the minute Trump gets brought up, like, we're not going to talk about it anymore. Like that's
you're right. We should talk about everybody that's on the plane.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. That's all I'm trying to say, man.
Why anybody's been on the plane? If we're going to be honest, then everybody.
That's all I'm trying to say, man.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. But to say that because somebody was on a plane, and I don't care who they were, because somebody was on the plane, that's just like saying that, well, you rode in this Uber, and then later on some bad shit
Uber killed somebody.
It's not
quite the same.
It is. No, it is. You're riding on an Uber. If I get on a plane because I know a guy. Dave,
are you telling me that the elites?
Dave,
okay, go ahead.
Let's say you have a private jet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, a G5 aluminum. G5.
You're Epstein's pilot. You're his pilot. His private jet.
And we just got hammered last night, right? Me and you partying downtown New York, and you're like, damn, dude, I gotta be in Washington like tomorrow. And you're like, I got you, bro. Right? And we get on that plane, right? And we fly in your plane to Washington. And then, oh, by the way, you pick up a couple of your cronies, and then you fly to this island, right? After you just dropped homeboy off. That's the Uber story. So it doesn't correlate. Yeah. So if I got into an Uber and then he drops me off at my house and then he goes out and murders somebody, like now all of a sudden I'm a murderer because I rode in this guy's Uber.
Yeah, but that Uber doesn't have a track record for shit, and then you're not getting to that Uber multiple times.
How do you know it doesn't happen?
How do you know it doesn't? How do you know it hasn't murdered 100 people?
Here's the.
You're telling me in the truck knocked out. You wouldn't know it.
So you're telling me that the interactions with Epstein with all these elites that they had no clue what that guy was up to?
We don't know, bro. That's Buddy's point.
We know now, but what about early on? What was he doing early on?
And here's the other thing. Yeah,
this shit's been going on for a long time with this dude.
It's been going on since the beginning of time.
But you have to know that there are people that just like any other, that just because they're elites doesn't mean that they're not humans, right?
Of course, I'm not saying that all the elites.
I got a stress ball for this.
Who works into their network. There's another guy that works into their network. Yeah. And that guy happens to have a plane, and they think that they can get something from that relationship. They're going to cultivate that relationship until they figure out whether or not that he's a good dude or a bad dude. And if he has a plane and he's like, yeah, I'm going to fly you down to Mar-a-Lago or they didn't have to go to the island. He had plenty of different places. And for the
he could have been on the plane.
I'm not claiming that former President Trump went to the island, because if you guys know about New Mexico, they're actually saying that place in New Mexico was way worse. The shit that happened there.
Nobody knows. Yeah. But that's the thing. Nobody knows.
They got good chili.
If that guy, if Epstein and Giselle Maxwell were hanging out with Trump and Biden, you don't think that they were hanging out with absolutely everybody? And at the end of the day,
of course they would,
buddy.
At the end of the day, if
you know what, buddy, you know what triggers me?
I'm saying
why do we call it sex trafficking? Why do we call it human trafficking?
It is called human trafficking.
It's slavery.
It's called both.
It's slavery.
Buddy.
It's slavery.
It's slavery.
But human trafficking sounds so much nicer.
If that pilot, real quick, if that pilot would have 4 days ago when he dropped all those names, would have dropped Biden's name, I can tell you hundreds of my buddies on the right would have fucking exploded. They would have been all over it.
That doesn't. But again,
that's my entire point with this entire thing, though. That's my entire point.
Because he doesn't know where he is right now.
and
President Biden, my commander in chief.
He got sick because his 1-year-old granddaughter likes kisses.
But that's my entire point with it. Again, is like be open. You know, like maybe
you're not gonna get that from these guys. Trump's the only one that was open. Trump was the only one that was open.
Yeah. And to be honest, Trump is the only one that said, "Yeah, I knew Jeffrey."
He owned up to it.
Yeah, he 100% did.
And he knew it was fucked up.
And if you listen
open about it, Bill Gates was also open
to the
about
pilots.
He's like, he's dead. He's dead. Like Bill Gates. Yeah. Like,
well, the pilot's
no, Bill Gates said he's like, I had no idea what was this all.
He did say that, right?
Sure he did.
But
and then they asked him in the report. I watched that interview, and she was like,
"We're not listening to you anymore. We're letting Dave talk."
Yeah, no shit. Well, you're not letting anybody talk.
You opened up that can of worms.
Go ahead, buddy.
Georgia,
the pilot's
you better calm down.
It was also that Trump was on the plane by himself every single time he was on the plane. He never had anyone else on the plane with him.
Right.
It's hard to traffic sex when you're by yourself.
If you know anything about Trump, he was probably looking for the art of the deal. He's probably trying to get something out of Epstein.
Yeah.
Or work some deal that's going to benefit him.
The facts are all skewed.
But either way,
the facts are all skewed though. Like everybody talks about back in the day. Like I was under the impression, and I could be wrong.
Oh, you've been wrong before.
100%, and I don't. And
Remember
it's
the
fine.
Powerball?
Never wrong.
Want to talk about the Powerball?
What are you talking about?
That is a made up story, Nick.
Let's talk about the Powerball.
That is literally a made up
You guys
story.
wanna hear
I grew
about
up in
the Powerball?
Germany. We had lottery.
You guys want to hear about the Powerball? So
let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
I'm mid sentence.
Go ahead. I want to talk about the Powerball. Though.
Now I lost my train of thought. No. We're talking about the facts and everything.
Why you're not involved.
So Trump, whatever came out 5-10 years ago, we stated, and I want to see this. If I'll research it myself, but I can't find it. I'm pretty sure he clearly stated he never flew on that plane.
No, he never flew to the island.
I'm pretty sure
he never flew to the island.
Okay, so so when the case initially happened, he stated that he flew once. Are those the facts? I'm trying to get it straight.
No, he said he never flew to the island.
Correct.
Yeah, he said he never flew to the island, but he had flown on the plane.
And he said
once. No, that's who I was arguing with today on Facebook. That person said it was only once. The flight log shows it from 5-10 years ago.
I don't know if he ever said once.
No, he did. He did say once, but again,
I thought it was zero.
That's what I'm trying to. He did say once, Dave, and but that was again. You have to take the context where the question came when he was given a press brief about like coronavirus, right, yeah. And he was like, I don't know. I think I flew on this plane like once. Right,
okay.
like.
But now the court, the case is reopened again because we got Maxwell, and now the pilot is stating
he never went to the island.
But now the pilot is stating that Trump flew more than once, multiple times.
But again,
like I said, the context,
which will probably come out. They'll probably come out.
The context of quotes, which is a Washington thing.
But why is everybody so hard to defend him when they're not easily?
Because
Bill Gates was part of it.
He was the only one to talk about it. He was the only one to be open about it.
Well, I think that we can go to this conversation and talk about why people will defend Trump is because absolutely everyone.
And I voted for Trump.
Where you're talking about how people are easily are so quick to defend Trump. The reason that people are so quick to defend Trump is because for the last 6 years, everyone else has been trying to crucify him so easily.
Yeah.
How many presidential votes have you gotten? I got at least 3.
I don't know why you're hemming and hawing. Have you ever seen another president that's gone through as many impeachments, trials, and trying to destroy
for absolutely nothing?
If they had actual proof of him doing anything wrong,
that's like the far left defending
one of their Biden doing wrong, and then nothing's ever happened to him. Right? There's actual proof.
Because he's part of the establishment, Cliff.
He's a part of the elite. He's part of that circle, and that circle includes Democrats and Republicans. And American people better wake up and see it because we got to split that circle.
Let's just start calling ourselves ants. The ants need to team up.
The greatest thing about this whole trial is that it should be nonpartisan because it's a trial, and we're going to find out who the shitty people on both sides are.
But once
once we find out who the shitty people on both sides are, we have to be willing to not support them any longer.
So what did Bill say?
Thank you, buddy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But are we going to really find out? Are we really going to find out? Like, there's going to be a couple scapegoats, and
this is
that's
why
it.
I was going to say we need an attorney on here to say why the case isn't being televised, because if it comes down to
They're not allowed to, right? Because it's a federal court.
No, wait. If it comes down
by law, they're not allowed to bring video cameras.
Dave,
Right.
I need an
That's
attorney
not
on
true,
here.
though, Dave.
I need an attorney on here. I need an attorney on here or on the thread. If there's an attorney watching, like, I'm pretty sure you can fact check me on this, that if it becomes a mistrial because of information being leaked, because it's on TV, et cetera, or the jury gets, whatever, they get compromised, guess who you can't go after a mistrial? You can't go after anybody implicated in it. Right. So they have to be very, very careful with how the case is handled and run. Otherwise,
Yeah, maybe.
It says federal rule of criminal procedure 53 states, except that otherwise provided by statute or these rules, the court must not permit the taking of photographs and cannot be.
Yeah, federal.
Video-
This
video-
is a Supreme Court case.
State court can do it. That's
I know. I just read
That
something
was
out
online.
about it the other day. Why? Because why would they not publicize it if they could?
Yeah.
Because again, they don't want it to get tainted.
Right.
If it gets tainted, then you can't go after the people that are implicated in it.
Well, that they don't want to have the American people see everything that's going on in that trial, and when they're saying names and all that other stuff, they don't want the American people to see that.
Yeah, because then again, if it's that big of a case, and
Mhm.
let's just say
It's massive.
Dave and Buddy were involved, right? And now it gets publicized before they actually get accused of something.
Yeah.
Now, how are they supposed to get a fair trial? Because now all of America knows that Dave and Buddy were on that plane,
Right.
right?
But
now,
Epstein's reach was farther than the United States, right? It's worldwide. So he's got leaders on there that came to that island and did things. So
You're right, Cliff.
It's bigger than the United States. It's
Right.
massive.
right? And again, this is where maybe it's my lack of empathy for just human life, to where it's like slavery has been around since the beginning of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is slavery.
It is.
Whether or not you want to be a leader and stand up and do something about it, guess who's not leaders? Politicians and actors. Okay. They're not leaders. So when you say, oh, we need a leader for this country, that's you, homie. Like that's us. So, and like Buddy talked about earlier, having the personal accountability, that's what a leader does.
Mhm.
Right. You have
Nobody
personal
in Congress and the
accountability.
Senate has personal accountability.
They don't
That's the
have
problem.
to. Yeah, they don't have to.
Facts.
And the best thing is you want to talk about history and not revised history. I'm talking about actual history, where you had the first liberal, right? I think it was Mr. Locke, right? The first liberal back in the 1600s, okay, with the Great Enlightenment. And all these guys are like, we need to teach more than just law and theology in college, right? We have to teach arts.
Right.
Because in order for a democracy to succeed, it has to have educated people making decisions, not just lawyers and priests.
Right.
Right. So what do we have in Congress right now?
A whole lot of
A
lawyers.
bunch of fucking lawyers.
Mhm.
It's like it's literally like the opposite of what. Why don't we have a bunch of teachers in there? Why don't we have a bunch of,
but think about it for a second. In a university, you go and you have a professor, right? And they're smart people, but they only know the educational system. It's like Elon Musk said, a drug dealer knows more about business than most of the professors in college.
right? And so,
Right? And I have to agree with that.
Elon
these
Musk
guys-
is a gangster, man.
all these guys have staff.
Yeah,
Apple,
he
watch
needs
out.
to be on this show. He needs
Oh,
to come on
shit.
this show.
But all these guys have staffs.
Calling
so
him
it's
out.
like in your staff, you bring on 2 or 3 lawyers, right? And so, hey, does this bill meet the law? Is it constitutional?
Mhm.
Right? And they say yes or no to you because they're on your staff, right? But you're an educated person making an educated decision.
Yeah.
But no, all we have is lawyers making laws. And
Yeah.
guess what?
What
Now
do
we're
lawyers
I
do,
hate
though?
we're a nation of laws, huh?
Yeah, but what do lawyers do? They don't follow.
Remember, lawyers are different than attorneys.
Yeah. But they don't
Mhm.
follow the law. They find loopholes in laws that were written.
No, that's what attorneys do.
And
Yeah.
lawyers do the same thing.
No,
They're-
lawyers are different. Lawyers just means you have a law degree. You understand law, right?
Yeah,
So
I got that.
So
But
again,
they do the same thing.
Oh,
That's
get
what
triggered,
you
buddy.
learn in law
Get
buddy,
triggered.
before you get
Getting
triggered,
triggered.
Buddy,
you
get
missed my
triggered.
point.
You can see it in his eyes. Look at him.
I'm not getting triggered.
You missed my, hey buddy, you missed my point.
Just because you say don't get triggered does not mean,
buddy, it's okay.
You're still triggered about it, buddy. You can't let it go.
Literally,
like the
go. It was just.
You told people let it go.
You changed your voice. You're very aggressive right now. Why are you being so aggressive? Are you triggered, Nick?
I have this.
Are you triggered?
I admit it.
I never get triggered,
and I'm triggered. Right. I have my stress ball to keep me from getting triggered. Right? Actually, I think it's Caitlin's slime she made. Let me break it down, Barney style. Let me break it down, Barney style.
Gummies, nothing triggers me.
So, buddy, like you talked about it earlier, what you refused to do yourself was let it go. All right, like Frozen says,
let it go.
Just let it go. Are you smoking a cigarette? What is that? Huh? I don't know. I couldn't see what it was. It looked like you lit something.
That looked like he had a dildo in his hand.
Yeah, like a dildo or something.
I'm gonna say there's no bugs in the wintertime.
Maybe Jimmy was right.
A little.
Hey, is anybody commenting on Veteran Trash Talk? Because I'm looking at Gruntworks.
Yeah, I mean, just grunts should be in office. One guy says.
We have Desiree Freeman. She's a huge supporter of us on Gruntworks. Hi, Desiree. How you doing?
No, grunts should not be in office. Whoever said that is the dumbest.
Well,
thing.
right.
Hey, Richard, though, we love Richard, man. He tunes in every Saturday, so
we need.
Yeah.
We had grunts in office in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. How did that happen? What went on there? Nothing good, guys.
First of all,
when grunts get in office, they say things like nobody gets to have a gun.
One of the greatest Americans of all time was, Dwight Eisenhower, grunt. Okay. And then you have, Teddy Roosevelt, who was actually the Secretary of the Navy before the Spanish-American War came out, and he resigned his commission and became, you took a battalion. All right. You think about G's like that. Those are OGs. Like those are guys that they're coming, they're bringing the pain. And this is what I talk about with like leaders.
Damn, OGs bringing the pain.
Yeah. Like seriously, like think about resigning your cabinet position to go fight a war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and there'll be a left-wing freaking revisionist historian that wants to argue that. And it's like, no, that dude was a gangster. Like Teddy Roosevelt was a straight G. Right. Like, and he did those things for the greater good of the country. Right. And then he also, I believe he commanded there was this unit down in the Spanish American War. I don't know if anybody knows who it is, but there was a bunch of black people. Right. So that's who he commanded, and that's who he took in the fight, and it's like, there are leaders that have ethics, that have moral backgrounds. And like I talked about before the show started, which is what I wanted to get into, is I want you all to look up presidents that actually led something before they were presidents, right? Look up what they did before they got into politics. Because most presidents were career-long politicians, community organizers, yada, yada, et cetera, right? Look at how many presidents that were actual leaders got more than one term.
Yeah.
All right. And then that's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about that. They come in there with their ethics and their values as leaders should have.
Right.
And then they get run the fuck out of Washington.
Well, and they make a decision, they stick to it, right?
Yep.
And that's what a good leader does, right or wrong or indifferent. When that moment happens at that time, at that second, they make that decision. And then they own up to that decision, whether it turned bad or didn't turn bad.
Own up.
Because
exactly.
You got to own up to it,
Yep.
Cliff Bauman can say that, yeah, I had a good military career. Did I ever do everything right and the way I was supposed to? No. Did I make a mistake and own up to it? Yeah. You know why I owned up to it? Because my father told me to. He said,
shit, accountability? Accountability?
Damn right.
Oh, man.
He says, but you know what? If you stand and look and you tell somebody you're only as good as your word, right? I tell my son this all the time. Somebody was accusing him of something he didn't do. And I said, Cliff, if you didn't do it, what are you worried about it? Right? They were saying he ate their house or something, whatever. But I got a log of where his car goes.
No, man,
I got cameras on my house, right? So I said, Cliff, what are you worried about it for? Don't worry about it. If you didn't do it and you're not guilty, you have nothing to worry about.
The glove don't fit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, because it's an interesting dynamic when people lie. Right. And because we all lie, we've done it before. We've all done it. Right. And
it's human nature.
It's human. But again, that's weird. It's weird. That fear of, makes you lie. And it's like, where did you learn that? Like, who taught you how to lie? And it's biblical, like Buddy talks about, like,
babies
you go to the first story in the Bible
thinking they're
about
hungry and they're
lying.
not for attention or whatever. We know that. Science tells us that.
Like literally one of the first stories in the Bible is about lying.
I want my
Like the first words, right? Like, who told you were naked? Right? Like who told you that?
Yeah.
Like where did you learn to lie? And we all get scared and we lie. And I wish we could, but then again, when you tell the truth all the time, you get called an asshole, and it's like, Dave always calls me an asshole. It's like, Dave, I just tell you the truth, like, sorry. But, just that guy's a dick.
There's about 10% truth to that, but yeah.
No, there's about 47. So
Tom Cruise, where they said you can't handle the truth.
Yeah,
people can't handle the truth.
So, and that's a good disclaimer for those on Veteran Trash Talk. Hey, when you message Veteran Trash Talk, all right, you're either going to get Dave or you're going to get me. Okay.
Right.
All right. Like that's it. Right. And so I will be nice to you once. Okay. I will be like, how are you doing, bro, or sis, or ma'am, or sir? Like, how are you doing? Do you need something? Hey man, why don't you guys do this? And then I write back, why don't you go fuck yourself?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To where
good cop, bad cop.
To where I'm
Dave's a good cop.
Dave will come in and be like, hey, chill. Let's talk about it. And I'm like, I ain't got time for this guy. Like, what's he doing? Like, why don't you post this on your page? I don't know. Why don't you create your own fucking page and post it? Like, why do I got to post it on this page? It's like, but
this literally happens at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, 2 to 3 times a week.
2 to 3 times a week.
We got a comment here from let me call him out here because he seems super super fun and cool. Dang it, where did he might have deleted his comment. Son of a bitch. He goes, nothing but a bunch of bullshit here. Yeah, that's right. All right. You see the logo right here? Okay. I know he's got his I know Cliff's got the logo on. You see that?
Yeah.
It's a dumpster fire.
I gotta buy me a couple more t-shirts because I get a lot of attention when I go out. I was at my son's wrestling match earlier today.
We're trying to
stop watching us if you don't like it. Tune out.
Yeah. Again, if you can't handle it,
we support veterans.
Kitchen, right?
We support veteran-owned businesses.
We support veteran-owned businesses. And oh, by the way, this is our own therapy.
Yeah.
Like I'm having if I wasn't having a great time right now, or I had like my daughter's football season is over, so I don't have to go to a game on a Saturday, so it's like I'll sit here and talk for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And Chris and our producer hates this, but now that he's actually a part of the team,
he's okay with. I noticed he wasn't cutting us off.
Like I haven't heard God speak.
On episode 72, he was cutting
Chris,
us off.
are you there? Chris, are you there? So now does that voice go over?
Oh, I'm here. He said I'm here.
You have to bounce it.
Doped up on NyQuil right now.
All right. But I think we actually can wrap this up.
Agree.
So let's wrap this up and we'll see you guys all again next week. We'll let Dave close us out and throw in all the plugs and all that kind of stuff. Cliff, you're always welcome here. Appreciate you coming on. You're definitely an asset.
I just want to say thanks for letting me have on. I appreciate everything you guys do for the veteran community. I just want to say that, December is a rough time for somebody. I did a post on Facebook, the other day. I'm going to write a post for Rally Point. I did attempt suicide on December 20th in 2002. I'm going to write about my experiences and kind of what led up to that and really kind of open up and talk about things I haven't talked about. But it's a stressful time for everybody this time, right? So you might have lost a family member. You might be suffering from PTSD or mental health, or you may have a family friend or somebody who just kind of went quiet or their attitude kind of changed. Take that moment to pick up the phone and give them a call and just say, hey, and just see how they're doing, because not everybody has somebody for the holiday season. And, we're a community here. That's what Veteran Trash Talk's about. And, let's just, if there's somebody out there hurting or suffering, hey, let us know or let somebody know and just try to help them best as you can.
Love it.
Amen.
Hey, great episode. Look, we all had different opinions earlier, and holy shit, we're still here and we're still talking to each other and we're still laughing and
Not talking to you.
I didn't even get my Powerball story.
Holy shit. Hey, phenomenal show. I really enjoyed myself as I do every Saturday. This is my therapy. For anybody that just tuned in or is just now watching the episode or listening to it, check out veterantrashtalk.com. That is our website. That'll provide you with all the links. Shop.veterantrashtalk.com is our store where we have all this amazing merch. I think we're all wearing VTT except for Buddy. It is what it is. He's still waiting on his tank tops.
Buddy
Maybe
doesn't
talk
even
about
own his
that later. Part of every sale, proceeds from every sale go to Stop Soldier Suicide.
You
Benefits
gotta
a great
say benefit. It
organization.
sounds better.
Benefit.
Yeah, Benefits a great organization. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you next Saturday.
Hey, have a
Thanks,
good
man.
weekend, everybody.
DGT out.
Take care.